Majo John Madden in Jalapa, Mexico, and I just did a short 60-minute talk about Michelle Obama's short on YouTube about basic anxiety. And I'm going to talk more about that here. I want to give you a little glimpse of where I am. Jalapa, Mexico is way up in the mountains, and it's a very mountainous town. I call it San Francisco on steroids. I've been here going on 5 weeks now. I adore it. It's a very progressive town. It's the state capital of the state of Veracruz, and I've met some amazing friends here. I actually have 3 really good friends who set up a pop-up restaurant right where that guy's walking over there, or wherever that is. 3 nights a week, and Saturday and Sunday. So I've spent a lot of time with them in the last 2 days, Mario and Rubio. I love the Mexican people, and they are paragons of that. Funny, unassuming, real, very alive, extremely alive, and just a gas to be with. They're very accepting, and they're very accepting of me, who I'm a handful these days. So Michelle Obama, she said in that 60-second talk that she has anxiety, and she always has, and it has been a great motivator for her. It motivated her to get good grades, it motivated her to get ahead, motivated her to take good care of her kids, stuff like that. And God knows, I think she's been an incredible force for good in the world. I admire the 2 of them so much, and always have. And I'm from Chicago, and I worked on Barack's Senate campaign in Illinois before anybody even knew who he was. And both of his presidential campaigns, and the day he won the presidency was one of the happiest days of my life. I was out knocking on doors, and halfway through the day I said, it's happening, it's happening. And I just cried and got so happy. And, was he a perfect president? No, but could he be with all the resistance from the Republicans? Come on. And I think he continues to do great stuff. I love his podcast with Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run, or whatever, Born to be Wild, or wherever the name of that is. And I think she's doing awesome stuff that I haven't actually caught up with as much as I want to. A couple of books and videos and stuff. But this thing, she said, I think it's just wired in that we have some anxiety. I've been really influenced by the Course in Miracles, which says that the 2 basic emotional states are love and fear. And when we're in the ego, the part of us that feels small and separate and vulnerable and vulnerable, we feel fear. It's natural. And I think most of us would acknowledge, yeah, some of the time I feel like life is too big for me. And this Course in Miracles, A Course in Miracles, which was a channeled document, and I'm not crazy about channeled documents. It's the only one that's ever worked for me, but it's so wise and so deep, and I studied it really hard. There's a big, thick text of all this esoteric philosophy that I never tackled. I was allergic to that. But then there's 365 lessons, which are very hands-on and very look at the world through this. What would it be like if you use this lens to look at the world? And the first 10 lessons take apart your way of looking at the world. Things like, I don't understand the meaning of anything I see. I'm never upset for the reason I think. Stuff like that. And it did that for me. So you could do it in a year. I spent 3 years, and I would have the little lesson for the day tucked in my pocket. And at first they have you refer to it every hour. And then they up the ante, it's like every 10 minutes. And I loved it so much that I turned around and went back through the 365 lessons in 4 years. And got so steeped in it that I walked into a workshop led by one of the top leaders of Course in Miracles. And when I came through the door, she said, "Oh, you're one of us." I reeked of it. So it's a long time ago now. It was back in Chicago, so it was over 20 years ago. But it's absolutely one of the formative things in my life. And so love is letting go of fear. Gerald Jampolsky wrote, I think, the best popular. There's a woman, Marianne Williamson, is very semi-famous popularizer of it. But that book by Gerald Jampolsky, Love is Letting Go of Fear, I really recommend that. So when we remember who we really are, which is everything, then we feel love, you know, because everything is a part of us. How could I not love that person walking towards me on the path when they're my brother? Now, I kind of knew that, I think, even before the Course in Miracles. But my son, when he was a 14-year-old or whatever, he was an introvert, and he was horrified by my extroversion. And one day, walking through maybe Oak Park, western suburb of Chicago, he said to me, "Why? Why did you have to talk to that person? You don't know that person." I said, "Well, he's my brother." and he thought, "Oh, God, my dad's lost it." But, he later on came around and said that some of that stuff made sense to him. And he was starting to see the world that way. So love and fear, we go back and forth. And when we feel fear, when something looks dangerous to us, and as wonderful as the people of Mexico are, some of the really spiritual people in Mexico walk around with all kinds of irrational fears. I was shocked. I spent 3 months in the little 400-person pueblo of El Diamante. Very sweet. Everybody knows each other. Everybody's sweet to each other. The people were so adorable and great. And the countryside was great. But my hosts, the ones I was closest to, would say, the dad, the abuelo, the old man, Don Miguel, said, "Don't walk on those back roads by yourself. It's dangerous out there." No, it wasn't at all. It was fabulous. And one of the son-in-laws said, "Don't walk the streets of Vega by yourself." That was a 2,000 or 3,000 person town nearby where I walked all the time and loved it. Where do you get this notion? And Martinez, 60,000 person town, an hour bus ride from there, I really loved that, because I'm a city guy, I'm a Chicagoan. I really loved that. And Elia, my best friend there, said, "It's dangerous there." And especially if you take money out of the bank at the Coppel store, people will watch, see that you're taking money out there, will follow you and kill you to take your money. Absolutely. And I did a spoof video in that very lobby the next time I went there. 1 minute short for YouTube, saying, "Help me find the hardened criminals in this lobby," because it was all working people just trying to get their money. But I said to Elia once, she was a Bible Christian and wonderful person and beautiful mother and good partner and just an amazing person who had all these fears. I said, "Does your pastor not teach you about God being love? What about, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will not fear, because you're with me." And I have that. I had a big spiritual experience 4 years ago, and I really have that. I have that all the time. So it made it even more like, Elia, once the Google translator misheard my voice to text, and when I said Elia, it spit out extraterrestrial, but her name was Elia. But she felt like an alien to me sometimes, and sometimes I felt like an alien, certainly, to her, because she's just trying to teach me the way Mexico is. And I'm saying, where you see danger, I see blessing. I do. There's people everywhere I go. People are blessing me and helping me and being angels. And I love the people of Mexico. And sure, they're bad ones. Of course, any race, there's bad. But the Mexican people are so sweet. And there's no guns in Mexico, Elia. I just spent a year in South Texas where you piss somebody off and they'll shoot you. Nobody's packing. If you see a guy with a holster on his hip in Mexico, it's his phone. It's his phone. Might be a knife that he uses, just for a tool. But 99% of the time, it's a phone. Not so in Texas. So, to me, Mexico is way safer. It's easy to stay away from the cartel areas. Basically easy. I guess they're operative in Cancun, but If you're not buying drugs from them, you won't deal with them. So in my 7 months, I went through the border fast because the border towns are dangerous. But then you choose where to go, and I've been the east coast of Mexico where they are safe from Americans too. Because if you're going to Veracruz, you'll fly or take a cruise, and everywhere I've been, they don't see Americans, and it has left them wonderfully open to Americans and curious and wanting to try out their little bit of Spanish and talk to me about the time they lived in the U.S. and worked there and stuff. So, no, you don't have to walk through the world anxious at all. You don't. I'm putting together a course called How to Be Happy. It's going to be a whole separate YouTube channel, but there are a bunch of videos up now, and another course on spiritual maturity. What it looks like to really, because some of these spiritual teachers are not giving people the good stuff at all, not even a little bit. All right, thanks.